What was they can?
Ils peuvent.
Ils peuvent. And they want?
Ils veulent.
Ils veulent. Good. So here we can think that the L is like the L we have in volunteer. No, the V of peuvent may be a bit more random. But we also get that V again in they must. How was that?
Ils doivent. Doivent.
Ils doivent. Good. So ils peuvent is spelled P-E-U-V-E-N-T. Ils veulent is spelled V-E-U-L-E-N-T. Ils doivent is spelled D-O-I-V-E-N-T. And I mentioned how this E-N-T we add for they is inaudible. We don't hear it. If we add this E-N-T for they to a normal ER verb, a normal French verb ending ER, all it's going to do is make us hear the last consonant. So the verb will once again just sound like the to form without the er ending. So what was to eat?
Manger.
Manger. So if we remove our er and we put ent, as the ent is not pronounced when it's on the end of verbs, it's just going to make us hear that last consonant. So how do we say they eat?
Ils mangent.
Il mange, elle mange. So it's another version that sounds just like the rest we learned. No, je mange, il mange, tu manges, il or elle mange. So although spelled differently, they all just sound like the to form of the verb, but without this er ending, which of course just gives us this meaning of to. So give me he eats.
Il mange.
Il mange. And they eat.
Il mange.
Il mange. She eats.
Elle mange.
Elle mange. They eat. Females.
Elle mange.
Elle mange. So that all sounds the same, no? So in the spoken language, it will be mostly context that allows you to decipher if one means he or they, she or they. Unless, of course, you have a verb starting with a vowel. To forget is oublier. Oublier.
Oublier.
This is like oblivion. Oblivion is forgetting, or to be oblivious. Oublier, to forget. O-U-B-L-I-E-R. How would you say he forgets?
Il l'oublie. Il l'oublie.
So oublier is the to form. How does it sound when we say he forgets? It would be like the to form without the er ending by sound.
Il oublie.
You're taking a bit more away than just the er ending. Oublier. You get rid of the er, the e, and you're left with
Il oublie. Oublie.
oublie.
Il oublie.
Il oublie. And they forget.
Il oublie.
Here we would hear the difference between he forgets and they forget. But why? How is they spelled?
ILS.
Yeah.
Ils oublient.
Ils oublient. Ils oublient. Good. So here, no, because we have il with an s and then oublier, oubli, starting with a vowel, and they are two words very connected in meaning. They will liaise. No, the silent s on the end of il will become the first sound at the beginning of oubli, and we will hear it. Although we do hear it as a z, an s between vowels in French, as in English, sounds like z. Ils oublient. Give me she forgets.
Elle oublie.
Elle oublie. And they forget, females?
Elles oublient.
Elles oublient. So the S between vowels sounds like Z. Elles oublient. We saw the word for fish, which was poisson, and then the verb to fish, pêcher, pêcher.
Pêcher.
How do we say I fish?
Je pêche.
Je pêche. She fishes.
Elle pêche.
Elle pêche. You fish.
Tu pêches.
Tu pêches. And they fish.
Il pêchait. Il pêche. Il pêche.
Il pêche. No, it sounds the same. So the ENT on the end of verbs, we don't hear it. So it sounds like the other versions. Il pêche. They fish in order to eat. They fish in order to eat.
Il pêche pour manger.
Il pêche pour manger. So the ENT on the end of verbs isn't pronounced. But that is just on the end of verbs. Otherwise, it behaves as we would expect it to behave. Which would be what? I mean, how would you expect ENT on the end of a French word to sound?
En, on,
Good. So we wouldn't hear the last T. No, that's the first thing we thought of. And then we thought of, the EN will also sound like on. No? So, on, basically. So if you find ENT around the language not on the end of a verb, that's how it will sound. On. And many words ending ENT are often the same in French. So, for example, different, the word different, that's the same word in French. How would it sound in French?
différent,
Good, différent. Or we could have apartment, which is spelled slightly differently. We have A-P-P-A-R-T-E-M-E-N-T. Appartement, appartement.
appartement,
How do we say a little in French? A little, a bit?
un peu,
Un peu. And how would you say an apartment?
un appartement,
Un appartement. So we have a liaison here. The N of un that we don't hear in un peu, it sticks to the A of appartement. Un appartement. How would you say, I want to find an apartment?
je veux trouver un appartement,
So I really put the N onto the beginning of the next word. So un appartement.
je veux trouver un appartement,
Much better. Je veux trouver un appartement. How in French is spelled C-O-M-M-E-N-T. How would you pronounce the word how in French?
comment, comment,
Comment. Very good. If you want to say what's your name in French, you will say how do you call yourself? To call is appeler, appeler. And whilst in the to form we have this soft E in the middle, appeler, appeler. When we say I name, or you name, or he names, the sound of the E changes. We get appel. We go from appeler to appel. So to ask for somebody's name, we will say how, comment do you call yourself? Now we saw that you is te, and yourself is also te. So we will say, how do you call yourself?
comment tu t'appelles,
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? How do you call yourself? And how would you introduce yourself? My name is, I am called, I call myself.
je m'appelle,
Je m'appelle Michalis. Je m'appelle Ed. Really good.